Das Ryder Cup. It starts on Friday. Hold on, just really quick. Geoff, you and I were connecting on Twitter about this late last night. How about the interaction between Bryson and Brooks? How much are we reading into this thing? Just pair them together, Stricker.
I don't think it's going to happen on the first day. But, let's just, forecast a little bit to the second day, maybe. U.S. needs a little bit of a spark, Who am I going to pair Bryson with? Brooks, maybe, just, is sitting on the bench. Never say never, Emerson. Let's just hope that, this works out, because this is something the world needs at this point. We need to see Brooks and Bryson out there together. There's absolutely no doubt about it.
Reid, putting them together, first match off the first tee, Friday morning, would break the entire state of Wisconsin.
It would also break them.
Yeah, my favorite is Jesse's reaction to all of this. Just like
she's like, let me ask my damn question.
No, I'm just thinking about how that will never happen, because neither of them would have.
I honestly think Team Europe would freak out. They wouldn't know what to do. That's so much beef. Those guys would destroy the world. Batman and Robin.
And each other. The
They
world
would be
and
like
each
Batman
other.
and Mr. Freeze.
You done?
Yes.
You're very excited. I appreciate that. Look, it's to Jeff's point. I think yes, if they need a sparring, absolutely. But why not? If you're going to do it, why not send them out in the first match, right? Like, make a statement, and send them out in the first match. If that's the exciting thing, just do it, right? Because both of these guys, and if they win, in dominating fashion, then what else is going to put the Euro team on tilt? These guys have a connection, and they have a history. You see what they're doing on their Twitter accounts. Everything is pointing towards the momentum staying with Europe. These guys live for this. This is their entire everyone lives for this, right? And you got a myriad of different countries on Team Europe who already know how this kind of competition works. Absolutely. So Stricker is not only looking at his pairings, and we'll talk about this later, so we don't take too much time on this, but absolutely, this is if they're paired, I'd rather see it first, or like Geoff mentioned, if they need a spark, bring them back on day two.
All right, so let's get into this. What's your general overall strategy for DFS Cup golf? Do you like stacking a pairing, stacking a whole team? Or are you building a balanced lineup from both teams, Geoff?
I don't think you need to necessarily stack a whole team. I think that going a little bit more of a balanced approach is the way to do it, because realistically, your main goal here should be to get guys who have the best shot at playing 4 or 5 matches, because the more matches, the more points, the more chances at wins. Now, you can definitely stack pairings. We're obviously have to look a little bit ahead, but Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy, Victor Hovland, these are some of the guys. Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Those are pairings you're almost likely going to see, and if they get off to good starts, you're probably going to see them through all the team competition, which is great. So stack those pairings. Don't necessarily have to stack the teams, because again, America could blow out, but Brooks Koepka might play 3 matches. That's not really what you'd rather have a guy like Rory in there on the losing team playing 5 matches. So that's the strategy I'm looking at. Stack those pairings, not necessarily the teams.
All right, Reid, what's your take?
Yeah, same. And we'll get to the captain strategy in a little bit, but it's the same as if you're attacking a showdown for any other sport, right? Especially for football. If you want a team stack, you're going to be contrarian against the field, and that's going to give you a lot of leverage. So if you have a strong lean on, the U.S. team, thinking that they're just, from a talent perspective, that they can do it, then yeah, absolutely. And look, the whole narrative, even though the United States or the American teams, they're very heavily favored in this one, it's still on Team Europe, right? There's still value. There's still people out there saying that Team Europe is value. If you look at some individual bets, I like some of the individual bets. They're all coming and they're all landing on Team Europe. So I understand Jeff's point about making it balanced, but I don't mind a team stack, especially if you have a strong lean that Europe, like we just talked about, is going to take this one home.
All right, so talk to me a little bit more than about your strategy. Who's going to be your captain?
Yeah, I think there's 2 factions of thought, right? There's 2 different types of thought. One is taking one of these rookies, like a Victor Hovland, right? Who's probably going to be in 4 to, like Geoff mentioned, 4 to 5 matches, and you can save a lot and get a lot of these top guys. Or I'm going to probably lean more towards this, is the experience on this side. And Rory McIlroy is probably my favorite captain, just because he and Rahm are probably the 2 that I'm most confident in playing in all 5 matches. And I do think that if we see some of those practice round pairings guys, Rory was in that group with Hovland. So I could see a Rory Hovland, especially someone as experienced as Rory, stick with Hovland, the rookie. And even though both of those guys have a similar skill set, having both of their driving prowess on the same pairing will be fantastic. So if it's not one of these rookies like Hovland, I'm going to try and go with one of his potential partners in Rory.
All right, Geoff, your captain is who?
Yeah, no, it's kind of the same deal. I really like Rory McIlroy. I think Hovland you pair him with, but I think I'd rather captain Rory. You've got a better shot of getting the 5 matches. They could switch Hovland out if he just maybe ends up a little bit nervous off the start or something like that. I think that if you're creating a cash game lineup, I'd look to Xander Schauffele. Schauffele should be very, very chalky in the captain spot, though. So for GPPs, pay up for Rory, or maybe even pay down for a guy like Morikawa, who people seem to just be overlooking a bit, but he should play a ton too.
All right, guys, let's talk about who you're stacking with your captain. What do you think, Geoff?
I mean, look, we've already talked about this, but like Rory and Victor Hovland are playing together off the top. So that is just a stack that fits so naturally if you're going to pay up for Rory. Now, if you're looking at other pairings, again, I think that as you go with the captains, you want to try and target someone. Like if you're targeting Justin Thomas, go with Jordan Spieth. Those two have played a ton together in international competition. They're almost certainly going to start the matches together. And you can even go down. I mean, I mentioned Schauffele and Cantlay. Regardless of who you captain there, you should be flexing the other one to stack them. So look at it as pairings. Start with your captain, and then try and read the tea leaves, who they're going to play with. Dustin Johnson, Colin Morikawa, another pairing you can probably target.
All right, read those tea leaves.
All those things that I completely agree. We talked about Victor Hovland, but here's one guy, guys, Paul Casey. Like Paul Casey is someone that I think we were taking, for granted as an industry that we're not talking enough about. Guy has a 14-9-4 lifetime team record. He's been on 4 or 5 Ryder Cups already, and this guy's ball striking has been elite. He ranks 2nd in approach and 10th off the tee, I think, over those last 24 rounds. And when you get him on die courses, I think he's also been pretty dang good as well. He's had a great season so far, and he's someone too that in these type of matchups, right? We talk about bulldog, talk about you got to have the grit, right? Like in match play, he's got that, but it's a little bit subdued, right? It's a subdued, and he's got the disposition of this entire competition, right? He's like the Ian Poulter is like the aggressive one, is the boisterous one. Paul Casey is that quiet Tiger that you want to see, and when he plays well, you can see the energy that he has in this matchup, and he's only coming in at $6,800 as a flex price, and so I really, really like that.
Yeah, it's your turn, Emerson.
Okay, cool. All right, last one, quick one here. Anyone under $7,000 in play if you're looking for value, Reid?
Yeah, so I mentioned Paul Casey. I honestly think no one's talking about Daniel Berger either. Like Berger is someone too that, like, if he's paired with someone that is sort of like a DJ, maybe even a Bryson, right? I could see Bryson going with him if it's not a Scotty Scheffler. He's someone that could fit in any type of matchup, right? We see him play well in these short par 70 type of courses, but he's really good around the greens. He's a solid putter, and this is a guy too that has been around the top 10, top 15 in overall world golf ranking for a while. And so I do like Berger if I'm not going overweight in Casey.
How about you, Geoff?
I definitely like going to the Euros under 7K. I mean, Paul Casey to me, Reid already mentioned it. I definitely feel like even as a captain's pick, like you can think about him. But he's played a lot with Tyrrell Hatton. The two, won a match. They almost beat Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth the last Ryder Cup. They went 1-1, but they've played together in other competitions too. If you're going to use Casey, using Hatton with him makes a ton of sense. These pairings could play all 4 matches if they get hot off the start. And then you have 2 guys playing 5 matches. So love that pairing. I like Hatton as a sneaky play there too. I think the American guys, yeah, they're talented, but there's a lot more chance some of these guys are only going to play 3 matches because they're so deep. So like going to Europe for the value.